Have you ever felt a sudden pressure in your head, as if something invisible was tugging at your thoughts? Or maybe you caught yourself wide awake in the middle of the night, for no reason at all, heart racing, pulse quickening, the air around you strangely electric? Welcome to Mysterious Universe, where science meets wonder, and the invisible forces of our cosmos speak louder than we ever imagined. Hey there, friend. I'm glad you found your way here. Before we dive in, take a breath and ask yourself, what if the sun wasn't just a source of light, but a living engine of energy shifts, subtle tremors, and planetary conversations echoing across space? What if something happened recently? Something powerful. Something not everyone noticed, but you felt it. In the early hours of May 29th, the Earth was struck, not by a meteor, not by a weapon, but by a surge of pure solar energy. A G3-level geomagnetic storm, powerful enough to rattle our planet's magnetic field, spike atmospheric currents, and for a brief moment, behave like a silent cosmic pulse pounding through the heart of our world. But here's the twist: this didn't happen out of nowhere. No. It was predicted, by the geometry of our solar system itself. A secret alignment. A whisper between Mercury and the Sun. A cosmic choreography too precise to be coincidence. In today's journey, we're going to uncover the full story. What exactly hit Earth, and why? What these strange planetary alignments mean. What's coming next on June 21st, and why it might be even more intense. So if you're sensitive to the unseen, curious about the rhythms of the cosmos, or just ready to see the solar system not as cold rocks and fireballs but as an interconnected living machine, this episode is for you. Stay with me until the end, because what we uncover might just change the way you look at the sky, forever. And hey, if this kind of journey speaks to your soul, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. You won't want to miss what's coming. Ready? Let's step into the storm. At exactly 12:08 a.m. Universal Time, something invisible struck our planet with the force of a cosmic whisper. No sound. No light. But Earth's magnetic field shuddered as if it had been jolted awake. Scientists called it a G3 geomagnetic storm. But what does that really mean to those of us walking on this Earth? Looking up unaware? It started with a coronal hole, a scar on the sun's surface where charged particles pour out like a silent river of fire. These aren't ordinary solar flares. They're high-speed solar wind streams, laced with energy, invisible to the eye but powerful enough to disturb satellite systems, power grids, and even our inner balance. And this time, it wasn't just one stream. There were two. The first one stirred the waters. The second one sent a wave crashing. And we, down here, felt it. In subtle ways. A sudden anxiety. A disrupted sleep. Devices glitching. A feeling like something was off, but you couldn't explain it. But the real story doesn't start with the sun. It begins with a planet barely the size of our moon, Mercury. Fast. Elusive, a messenger in mythology and in space. On May 29th, Mercury entered what astrologers call Kazimi, a moment of perfect alignment with the sun, hidden in its blazing light. Now, here's the thing: whenever Mercury dances this close to the sun in the sky, strange things start to happen. Not just miscommunications or technological hiccups like your GPS acting up, but something deeper, woven into the very fabric of space weather. It's not that Mercury causes these storms, but somehow, its position acts like a switch, activating the energy already building in the solar system. On May 24th, someone saw it coming. Noticed the geometry, the alignment, the tension building like the hush before a thunderclap. And when Mercury reached the heart of the sun, boom! That was the moment Earth's magnetic field cracked open. What made this event so eerie wasn't just its power, but how it mimicked something we fear deeply: an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse. Usually associated with nuclear blasts or advanced weaponry. EMPs can fry electronics in an instant. But this wasn't man-made. It was celestial. Sensors recorded a massive spike in Earth's magnetic volatility. Instruments leaped. Charts spiked. A KP index of 6.77, strong enough to classify it as a serious G3 storm. For those tuned in, it felt as if the Earth's heartbeat had skipped. What caused that spike? A co-rotating interaction region. Or CIR. Think of it like a cosmic traffic jam, faster solar winds slamming into slower ones, compressing plasma and creating a dense wall of energy. That wall hit us hard. For a moment, Earth glowed. Literally. In the polar skies, auroras danced in brilliant reds and greens, visible even in places that rarely see them. But there was something more, something unspoken. A shift. To those watching the skies, this wasn't a surprise, it was a fulfillment. Data from NOAA showed the solar wind density and speed surging. One stream hit at over 600 kilometers per second, then another at 700 kilometers per second. These aren't numbers. They're warnings. You see, solar wind is more than just space weather. It's interstellar breath, carrying information, memory, and force. And when it reaches Earth, it doesn't just touch our atmosphere. It touches us. Think about that. This very moment, particles from the sun are moving through you, interacting with your field, your cells. Maybe even your emotions. Ancient cultures called this chi, or life force. Today we measure it in nanoteslas. But the feeling remains the same. On that night, as those streams crashed into our magnetic shield, Earth's field vibrated like a drum. And those vibrations ripple, not just through rocks and oceans, but through us. Let's look closer at the source. A coronal hole, a jagged dark wound on the face of our star. This wasn't a random feature. It was transequatorial, meaning it stretched across the sun's midline, ensuring its energy streamed directly into the plane of Earth's orbit. It didn't miss us. It couldn't. This particular hole had been brewing for days. It was wide, deep, and emitted streams of particles dense with energy. As it rotated into Earth-facing position, scientists knew we were in its path. But there was something else, something they didn't see until later. Behind this coronal hole were two massive sunspot groups, 4099 and 4100. These sunspots had been dormant, quiet observers. But something had shifted. Over the past 48 hours, they began to stir. Multiply. Fracture. They were waking up. And when sunspots wake, solar flares often follow. And when flares erupt, they carry with them blobs of plasma, coronal mass ejections, that can slam into Earth like a solar tsunami. The stage was set. The actors were in place. And the solar system was humming a silent warning. You might be wondering, how could something happening 93 million miles away truly touch us? The answer lies in an unseen thread, a magnetic connection that binds the Earth to the Sun, like a tether of energy. Scientists call it the Interplanetary Magnetic Field, or IMF. When it points southward, it opens a door, a magnetic handshake between Earth and the solar wind. On the night of the storm, that southward component plummeted. The magnetic field dipped sharply to -25 nanoteslas, the strongest reading in months. That's 5 times stronger than normal. And that door, it didn't just creak open. It swung wide. Through that opening came the charged particles, millions, billions of them, spilling into Earth's magnetosphere. The result? A planet buzzing. Navigation systems flickered. Power grids trembled. Some people felt it in their bones, headaches, anxiety, a restlessness they couldn't name. For those sensitive to the Earth's rhythms, it was like being submerged in a different current. Something ancient had stirred. And we were part of it, whether we knew it or not. While machines recorded numbers and scientists studied charts, something more poetic was happening above us. In the far north and south, the sky lit up in wild, otherworldly colors, auroras, born of charged particles smashing into Earth's upper atmosphere. But these weren't ordinary auroras. They spread farther than usual, visible even in places that rarely see the northern lights. Wisconsin, Montana, even parts of northern California. And those who looked up didn't just see light. They felt it. Witnesses spoke of skies that shimmered like silk, of red curtains dancing with green spirals, of a hush that fell over the land, as if nature itself was pausing to listen. In that moment, it was no longer just science. It was sacred. Because for a brief window in time, the veil between Earth and the cosmos thinned. And we saw, once again, that we are part of a living, breathing universe, one that speaks in storms and light. Here's where things get even more mysterious. This solar storm didn't come out of nowhere. It aligned almost perfectly with a rare planetary configuration. Mercury was at superior conjunction, directly behind the Sun from Earth's perspective. But that wasn't all. There was a grand trine forming, between Pluto, Uranus, and Sedna. A grand cross involving the Earth, Moon, Saturn, and Neptune. Planetary angles that astrologers and ancient star watchers would have marked on their charts with awe. Now, modern science doesn't always acknowledge the impact of planetary geometry on solar activity. But those who observe closely, who've mapped space weather across time, know better. The rhythm of the solar system is like a symphony. And certain chords? They strike with force. Around June 21st, those chords will align again. And many believe another storm is coming. Not guaranteed, but probable. The geometry is simply too precise to ignore. Something is building. Again. While Earth faced its own storm. A forgotten piece of the puzzle lay hidden, on the far side of the Sun. Thanks to the Solar Orbiter probe, stationed almost directly opposite Earth, we received a glimpse of what's coming. There, recorded in ultraviolet, was a massive plasma filament, a tendril of solar material stretching like a serpent across the Sun's limb. If it holds together, it will soon rotate into view. And if it erupts, it could send a shockwave directly toward us. But that wasn't all. The probe also recorded a magnetic field spike, an impact from a halo coronal mass ejection that would have triggered a G4 class storm if it had struck Earth instead of Solar Orbiter. It was a near miss. A warning shot. Sometimes, the universe whispers. Other times, it throws rocks. This time, it feels like both. The scar on the Sun is deepening. The spots are growing. And the filament waits. Coiled like a dragon in the fire. Here's the truth that lingers beneath all these charts and measurements. Solar storms don't just affect our satellites, radios, or skies. They affect us. Have you felt more tired lately? Anxious without reason? Had strange dreams or trouble sleeping? Some say it's coincidence. Others know better. We are electrical beings. Our brains, our hearts, our very cells buzz with current. And when the Earth's field is shaken, ours is too. Ancient cultures believed solar storms stirred the spirit world. Today, we say it affects melatonin levels, heart rhythms, circadian cycles. But the result is the same. During these storms, something inside us stirs. We become restless. A little more awake. A little more aware. Of the sky. Of ourselves. And perhaps that's the point. Maybe storms like these are not warnings, but reminders. That we are part of a larger story. That we are not separate from the sun or the stars. That the universe is not a distant place, but a mirror, reflecting the rhythms within us. Long before telescopes and satellites, ancient skywatchers stood beneath the same heavens we gaze upon today. They didn't have magnetometers or solar observatories, but they felt the shifts. They recorded strange lights in the night sky on stone, whispered of dragons in the sun, and spoke of days when compasses spun wildly, and animals acted strangely. To them, the heavens weren't just faraway orbs. They were living forces, gods, spirits, omens. And when the sun raged, the earth responded. Crops failed. Birds vanished. Storms rose. Today, we call these things solar storms, CMEs, geomagnetic anomalies. But the soul of the event is no different than what the ancients saw. It is a celestial heartbeat, a breath of the cosmos, exhaled across space and time. The more we learn, the more we see. Our ancestors weren't wrong. They were simply using different words for the same cosmic truths. As June approaches, scientists now turn their eyes to a new threat: two sunspot groups, named 4099 and 4100. These aren't ordinary sunspots. They're giants, visible as scars on the sun's surface, swirling with magnetic complexity. What's most unsettling isn't just their size, but their evolution. They've begun to fracture, split, grow more dynamic, like pressure building beneath the crust of a volcano. If they erupt and release a coronal mass ejection toward Earth, the resulting storm could dwarf what we just experienced. Some say it won't happen, that these spots will stay calm, silent. But the sun is a creature of surprises. And as these groups move toward Earth-centered alignment, the window of possibility grows wider. It's a game of cosmic roulette. And the chamber is spinning. Why does June 21st feel so ominous? It's not just the approaching sunspots, or the plasma filaments rotating into view. It's the geometry, the invisible structure of power shaping the solar system. Around this date, the planets will align in a formation that has only occurred a handful of times in recorded history: a grand trine, a grand cross, and a kite, overlapping, interacting, creating pressure points of energy. It sounds like astrology. But even skeptics are beginning to pay attention. Because these alignments aren't mystical, they're gravitational, magnetic, physical. They stretch the solar wind, compress the heliosphere, shift the sun's behavior. And at the heart of it all? Mercury, fast, fiery, unpredictable, acting as the activator. The spark that ignites the celestial fuse. Like a match passing too close to gunpowder. This time, it was a G3 class storm. Disruptive, but manageable. But what if next time? It's a Carrington-level event, the kind that fries power grids, shuts down satellites, knocks planes from the sky? It's not science fiction. It's happened before. In 1859, the Carrington event lit up the night sky so brightly that miners thought it was dawn. Telegraph machines shocked their operators and caught fire. If a storm of that magnitude hit us today, the world would stop. No GPS. No internet. No banking. Civilization unplugged. The current activity may be a whisper of warning. A tremor before the quake. And the sun? It's just warming up. We're only halfway through solar cycle 25, and history shows the most violent storms come near the peak. So we watch. And we wait. In the quiet after the storm, a strange stillness remains. The sky looks the same. The news has moved on. But something lingers, in the static on radios, in the flicker of auroras still dancing at the poles, in the way we glance skyward a little more often. Because deep down, we know, we are caught in a conversation. A dialogue between earth and sky, between flesh and flame, between the quiet heartbeats of humanity and the roaring pulse of a star. Geomagnetic storms remind us we are not alone in the void. That the sun is not just a source of light, but a living force, capable of beauty and destruction, silence and song. And maybe, just maybe, that connection is the most sacred thing we've forgotten. Some storms are loud, howling winds, crashing waves, lightning that splits the sky. But the storm we just lived through? It came in silence. No sirens. No warnings on the evening news. Just an invisible wind, screaming across the void, shaking the Earth's magnetic heart while most of us slept. And yet, something inside us stirred. Maybe you felt it, a sudden fatigue, a restlessness, a dream that lingered long past dawn. Maybe your devices glitched. Maybe your dog barked at the sky. Or maybe you just paused. For no reason. Looked up. Wondered. Because deep in our DNA, we remember. We are creatures of this earth, yes, but also children of the stars. Every atom in our bodies was born in the heart of a sun. So when it moves, when it pulses, when it unleashes its fire, something ancient inside us responds. This G3 storm was just the beginning. The solar cycle is rising. The alignments are tightening. The sunspots are growing restless. And on June 21st, the sky may open again. So don't wait for the headlines. Don't wait until the lights go out. Learn. Watch. Prepare. Not with fear, but with reverence. Because when the sun whispers, it's not just a warning. It's an invitation. To reconnect. To awaken. To remember who we are, and how delicately we are held between light and dark, storm and stillness. If you've felt something shift, you're not alone. We're in this together. This channel exists to help you navigate that mystery, to offer light in the vast unknown. So if this resonated with you, don't leave quietly. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell so you don't miss the next wave. And tell us, what did you feel during the storm? Because the sky is speaking. And together, here at Mysterious Universe, we are learning to listen.